The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Good afternoon. I am Vivek Nakra, and these are your news updates to see. The South Burnaby community had their first arena recreation center open this year. Our reporter Sia Foreoy will tell us more on how the Rosemary Brown Center has become a positive impact for residents.
According to Elections Canada, Burnaby South has a population of over 120,000 people, making it a diverse and growing community. Vince Kwong, the manager of the Rosemary Brown Center, notes that many residents have never experienced ice skating or put on skates before. It was crucial for the city to carefully consider the type of center that would best serve this community. Since its grand opening in April of this year, Kwong says that the community has enthusiastically embraced the center, with people coming in to try out the ice rink and other services such as spring ice time. Additionally, activities like toonie skates and skating lessons were consistently filled. With summer coming up, many new programs will be added to the center for residents to choose from. CF Forio, BCIT's The Crow.
The New Westminster Police are investigating the multi-vehicle dump truck accident that took place last night. Our reporter Ryan Sheridan has more on how the police are regulating commercial trucks.
This is the third major truck crash at the intersection of East Columbia and Holmes Street. The busy hill is notorious for truck crashes, even though it is off the truck route. New Westminster Police Communications Officer Haley Finnegan explains how officers monitor commercial trucks.
This location of Holmes in East Columbia is a place that's monitored by our commercial vehicle enforcement unit. Any commercial truck drivers could get a off-truck route ticket if they're found to be driving on Holmes without a reason, like if they're making a delivery or something like that. And that's a city bylaw ticket of $200.
The police say members of the public can make a report if they routinely see trucks driving off the designated route. Ryan Sheridan, BCIT's The Crow.
A public meeting is set to take place later today for evacuees from the Fort Nelson. According to Northern Rockies Regional Municipality, says that the meeting will take place at North Peace area in Fort St. John at 3:30. 4,700 people of the community are under evacuation since last Friday. Conditions had been favorable overnight, but the latest update says that there is potential for gusty winds this afternoon. Sexual assault victims are angry at the Ontario government for allegedly playing procedural games over a proposed bill. Government House Leader Paul Calendar sent a proposed NDP sex assault justice bill to committee and cancelled a debate on the subject. Survivor Kate Alexander says the government needs to listen to survivors and cooperate more. We are now halfway through the month-long Loblaw boycott. Reporter Tammy Mack gives us a glimpse of the economics of revenue.
Consumers faced with skyrocketing grocery prices were angered by Loblaw's reported record-high revenues, igniting a nationwide boycott. However, UBC economics professor Torsten Jackert says that the boycott may be a symptom of misplaced anger. Loblaw's increased revenues may be a byproduct of lockdown restrictions that gave consumers little choice between grocery stores. Post-pandemic supply chain disruption and rising operating costs are accounted for in revenue numbers.
I think from an economist's perspective, it's not clear if a chain such as Loblaws is sort of raising prices in a way that is nefarious, sort of gaining profit at the expense of consumers. Are rising prices actually reflecting their cost of doing business, which, of course, has been fluctuating wildly in the last couple of years as well.
Jackert iterates that revenue increases with rising operating costs, but that it does not equal profits. Tammy Mack, BCIT's The Crow.
We are now joined by Tammy Mack. Tammy, exactly what was the Loblaw's reported revenue?
Well, Vivek, according to their 2023 fiscal report released earlier this year, they reported $14 billion in revenue in just the fourth quarter. That's a growth of 3.7% compared to previous quarters. For 2023, they reported a total of $59 billion in revenue, which is an increase of 5% compared to 2022. Vivek?
And when we talk about Loblaws, what stories are we talking about?
Yeah, Loblaws is just the name of the parent company that encompasses
Dallas's many familiar retail stores, most famously Superstore, but also stores like Shopper Drug Mart, the Independent Grocer, TNT, No Frills, the Wholesale Club, City Market, and Bloor Street Market.
The Alberta government has introduced a new legislation to overhaul the healthcare system. This bill outlines how the arms of Alberta Health Services will be dismantled. And now, 4 new provincial agencies will fit under Health Minister Adriana Legridge. The bill is a part of multi-year transition estimated to cost $85 million. Legridge says that the changes will bring efficiency and focus to the system and ultimately improve patient care. OpenAI has released GPT-4o this week. Reporter Lauren Achilles speaks with the relationship coach who says no robot can replace person-to-person interaction.
GPT-4o is a chatbot that can understand audio, image, and text inputs with the goal of creating a human-like interaction with a computer. Annika Uzak, a Vancouver-based relationship coach, says a conversation with a chatbot like this may come off as disingenuous.
I don't think anything could replace that sort of human contact because you don't know where a human interaction's going sometimes, right? So I'm not really too threatened by a computer's ability to emulate human feelings or emotions.
Uzek adds there are positives to chatbots as they have provided her with different perspectives on relationships. She says despite how humane it may seem, human interactions are just too special to replace. Lauren Achilles, BCIT's The Crow.
Canada's Got Talent winner is confident after her win that it will bring her more opportunities to grow her career. Rebecca Strong says that the prize will push her career to the next level. It would allow her for musical growth and opportunities such as touring and recording new music. More than 100,000 Americans died of drug overdoses last year, but nationwide this number has been decreased this year. Brain Clark from ABC News talks about number of deaths caused by drug overdose.
Deaths from drug overdose fell last year in the U.S. for the first time in 5 years. Provisional numbers from the CDC showed 107,543 Americans lost their lives a year ago, a 3% decrease from more than 111,000 in 2022. The CDC's chief medical officer called this heartening news, but said there are still staggering numbers of families losing loved ones. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Alex Collins, a Texas man, shot 2 Mexico women and took one of their child. Authorities say that he is now facing a federal kidnapping charge. He was already facing state charges of first-degree murder in death of those 2 women. The women's bodies were found on May 3rd in a park near Clovis in New Mexico. Authorities used cell phone records, surveillance videos, and piece of a broken mirror from a vehicle to track down Collins. Robert Fico, Slovakia Prime Minister, has been shot multiple times after a political event in an attempted assassination. According to government, the man that was operating the boat that fatally struck 15-year-old off a South Florida beach has been identified. He fled the area soon after the incident and no charges have been filed. According to Wildlife Conservation Commission report, the 78-year-old man owns the Coral Gables home, where authorities found the boat and seized it yesterday. Officials say that he was the only occupant in the boat at the time of hit-and-run crash that left Ella died. The woman's body was... Today's weather is pleasant with a high of 18 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. The temperature is expected to drop to 11 degrees by the evening. There are some chances of rain on Thursday. Alex Collins, a Texas man, shot 2 Mexico women and took one of their child. Authorities say that he is now facing a federal kidnapping charge. He was already facing state charges of first-degree murders in death of those 2 women. The women's bodies were found on May 3rd in park near Clovis in New Mexico. Authorities used cell phones, records, surveillance video, and a piece of broken mirror from a vehicle to track down Collins. The man that was operating the boat was fatally struck. 15-year-old off a South Florida beach has been identified. He left the area soon after the incident and no charges have been filed. According to Wildlife Conservation Commission report, the 78-year-old man owns the Coral Gables home where authorities found the boat and seized it yesterday. That was your news updates to 3. I am Vivek Nakra and you are listening to BCIT The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
The British Columbia...
This is sports on 1680 The Crow.
At the end of the day, I can only focus on what I can do, and obviously I want to be better. I want to be the difference maker, and gone obviously the way I wanted to be, but
Well, yeah, so we felt that we just weren't as physical enough all around when it came to playing against the Winnipegs and all teams for that matter. I mean, we just felt that we needed to get more physical. Well, yeah, so we felt that we just weren't.
This year marks the 70th anniversary of the BC Lions. Home games will have themed celebrations highlighted by the Canada Day weekend game against the Elks and the fan favorite Watermelon Smash Night against the Rough Riders. The Lions will be impacted by the new health and safety measures introduced by the CFL today. Don Kelly of the Canadian Press tells us how these equipment changes will impact players.
The CFL says the introduction of Guardian caps and other measures has led to a 42% decrease in training camp concussions, and it is now the first pro sports league in North America to mandate the use of mouthguards. The league has announced several other health and safety initiatives. Teams will be allowed to use GPS tracking technology to register real-time data on player movements. That'll assist with injury prevention, load management, and rehabilitation monitoring. Don Kelly, The Canadian Press, Toronto.
The Vancouver Whitecaps play the Colorado Rapids tonight at 6:30. The Whitecaps are preparing for their second game of their 3-game road trip, and they are looking for redemption, coming off of a 3-0 loss to the LAFC. Midfielder Ryan Gold believes that things will turn around for the club.
Got the chance to try and turn things around straight away, and we don't have a long week of training to to dwell on tonight's results. So we've got a game to focus on already on Wednesday.
BC high schools are preparing their students for the provincial championships in ultimate frisbee. Joe Muse, a physics teacher and ultimate frisbee coach at St. Thomas More Collegiate, is hoping to continue his team's run of success.
We've qualified most years in the time that I've been coaching. Last year we were actually the provincial champions at AA, and about half of my roster is back from that squad, and so we're looking forward to trying to defend our title.
Muse and his team will travel to Kamloops for the provincial championships, which begins on May 23rd. The Blue Jays lost their game against the Baltimore Orioles today 3-2. Bo Bichette batted in both of the Jays' runs, but it was not enough as Adley Rutschman's walk-off 2-run home run ended the game. Here's the winning call.
2-1. Rutschman hits it high in the air, right field, it's deep. Springer going back at the track, at the high wall, and this baby is out of here! Adley Rutschman has walked it off! It's a 2-run shot that just landed above the LED board in right, and the Orioles can finally celebrate as Rutschman is...
Houston Astros pitcher Ronel Blanco has been suspended 10 games for violating the MLB's prohibitions on foreign substances. Blanco was ejected from yesterday's game against the Oakland Athletics after an umpire detected sticky stuff on Blanco's glove prior to the fourth inning. Astros general manager Dana Brown says Blanco will not appeal the suspension. He will be eligible to return on May 26th in a different series against the Oakland Athletics. This has been your sports updates to 3:15 p.m. My name is Zach Arabko, and you've been listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.